4. What happens next? Only one way to know.
Breaking news as Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul has just been postponed. Netflix has recently put out a statement saying, unfortunately, Jake Paul and Mike Tyson will not face off on July 20th as planned. Tyson's recent ulcer flare-up has limited his ability to train fully for the next few weeks. The fight will be rescheduled for a date later this year after Mike's able to resume training with no limitations and both fighters can have equal time to prepare for this once-in-a-lifetime matchup.
You heard that right. Netflix just dropped a bombshell that's sending shockwaves through the boxing world. Jake Paul's highly anticipated fight with Mike Tyson, it's officially off the table. The matchup that every fan was counting down to isn't happening. And now Netflix has revealed the inside story behind the entire fiasco. We're talking massive shakeups, a headline-grabbing fight cancellation, and some jaw-dropping developments that could completely change the course of Jake Paul's boxing career. This wasn't just another fight. It was the fight. Jake's golden opportunity to silence the doubters, prove himself to the boxing purists, and finally cement his place as a real contender. But with the fight scrapped and his Netflix documentary shelved, Jake's future in the ring is looking seriously uncertain. This was supposed to be his moment. The pressure was already sky high, but now it's through the roof. So, what exactly went down? Netflix wasn't just streaming the event. They were the official promoter. That's right, the Jake Paul vs. Mike Tyson Showdown was set to make history as Netflix's first ever live boxing event. It was more than a fight. It was Netflix's bold leap into the world of live sports and a major move for the platform and the sport alike. But now that deal has completely fallen apart and Jake's left scrambling. No Tyson fight, no documentary, no Netflix partnership. And with his biggest shot at legitimacy gone, fans are wondering, is this the end of Jake Paul's boxing dream? Or can he find a way to rise from the ashes? The hype leading up to the Jake Paul vs. Mike Tyson fight was next level insane. Tickets were flying, literally gone in minutes, with fans snapping them up left and right. Let's be honest, who wouldn't want to see Jake Paul square off against a living legend like Mike Tyson? The buzz was unreal. Influencers, fans, even celebrities were posting nonstop. Everyone had the date circled on their calendar. This wasn't just another boxing match. It was shaping up to be a full-blown cultural event. And then, bam. Out of nowhere, Netflix drops the hammer. The fight was canceled. Just like that. No warning. No build-up, nothing. The dream match evaporated overnight, leaving fans stunned and scrambling for answers. So, what the heck happened? How did we go from the most anticipated fight of the year to Netflix pulling the plug? Well, according to rumors swirling behind the scenes, there were a few key reasons behind the sudden shutdown. First and foremost, safety concerns. Mike Tyson might still be a terrifying presence in the ring, but let's face it, he's pushing 60. Matching him up against Jake Paul, a fighter nearly half his age, raised a lot of red flags. Netflix reportedly didn't want to risk a serious injury, or worse. The optics of something going wrong during the fight would have been a PR nightmare. With their reputation on the line, Netflix wasn't willing to roll the dice. Then there's the money angle. Yes, tickets were selling fast, but there were whispers that Netflix wasn't convinced the fight would pull the kind of global viewership they needed to justify the cost. Expectations were sky high, and anything less than a massive blockbuster could be seen as a flop. For a company built on smart, strategic moves, the risk may have just felt too big. And let's not ignore the elephant in the room, Jake Paul himself. Unpredictable, controversial, and always stirring up drama, Jake thrives in chaos. But that's not exactly the kind of energy Netflix wants tied to its brand. Some insiders speculate that the platform simply didn't want to bet big on someone with such a volatile track record. What if Jake backed out last minute? What if the whole thing blew up in their faces? For Netflix, the margin for error was razor thin. And then, of course, there are the steroid rumors. Yeah, they're floating around too. Whispers that Jake's been juicing in preparation for the fight started to gain traction, and whether true or not, The association alone was a red flag for Netflix. The last thing they needed was to be seen as backing a potentially tainted athlete. In their official statement, Netflix said only, "We regretfully made the decision to cancel the Jake Paul vs. Mike Tyson event due to unforeseen circumstances that could not be resolved." But the drama didn't end there. In a shocking twist, Netflix didn't just pull the plug on the fight. They announced they'd be backing out of all Jake Paul-related projects. That includes the high-profile documentary that was supposed to chronicle his transformation from YouTuber to pro boxer. That's right. All that hype? Gone. Just like that, Jake's boxing future is suddenly murky. No Tyson fight, no docuseries, no Netflix partnership. The momentum he worked so hard to build feels like it's evaporating, and fast. But knowing Jake Paul, don't expect him to fade quietly. The spotlight might be shifting, but he's already plotting his next move.
This may be it! Who's doing more than me? I'm the face of this sport.
The disruptor.
Jake Paul's latest move has fans buzzing with theories and speculation. Many are wondering if there's been a behind-the-scenes fallout with Netflix. How else do you explain such a dramatic shift? The documentary was supposed to be a major milestone in Jake's journey from YouTube personality to legitimate boxer, highlighting all the blood, sweat, and hustle he poured into his training. But now it feels like Netflix has slammed the door on his boxing ambitions. In a surprisingly formal statement, Netflix announced, "We will not be including Jake Paul in any upcoming projects, and we wish him well." On the surface, it's polite. But between the lines, the message is clear. Jake's standing with the platform has taken a serious hit. Even more damaging? Netflix noted that Jake's credibility in the boxing world is now in question. With his high-profile fight seemingly scrapped, Jake could face real trouble finding opponents willing to take him seriously. That's a nightmare scenario for a fighter whose brand relies on being a headline-grabbing contender. And let's not forget, he wasn't just set to fight anyone. Jake had locked in a match with none other than Mike Tyson. That level of star power doesn't come around often. Tyson only agreed to step into the ring because Netflix was involved. Now that they've pulled out, it begs the question, who's going to step up and fight Jake Paul? Sure, Jake's entertaining, but he doesn't command the respect that comes from battling a legend like Tyson. With the deal off, Jake's career as a boxer suddenly feels like it's hanging by a thread. He's built his entire public persona around being in the spotlight. But with no major fight on the horizon and Netflix distancing itself, fans are wondering, is this just a bump in the road or the beginning of the end for Jake's boxing chapter? Yet if there's one thing we know about Jake Paul, it's that he doesn't back down easily. He didn't waste time mourning the lost Tyson fight. As soon as Netflix dropped the bombshell, Jake pivoted, fast. Instead of fading into the background, he stepped into the spotlight again by challenging none other than Conor McGregor to an epic bout under his own promotional banner, Most Valuable Promotions. Netflix or not, Jake's message is loud and clear. No Netflix, no problem.
My team sent you a $50 million offer this morning. $50 million cash, proof of funds, the biggest fight offer.
Hear me out. Jake Paul knows Conor McGregor isn't the type to jump into a fight just for the thrill. If you want to get the Irishman's attention, you've got to make it worth his while. And let's be real, if there's one thing McGregor loves more than fighting, it's that sweet, sweet cash. So what does Jake do? He throws a monster offer on the table. $50 million. Yep, you heard that right. $50 million. Just to get McGregor to lace up the gloves and step into the ring with Jake. Even in the world of combat sports, that's a massive payday. Sure, Conor's already got serious money, but an offer like that, it's hard for anyone to ignore, even him. But here's where things get messy. Some of Jake's most loyal fans are starting to question his game plan. Is he really chasing legacy, or is he just hopping from one big-name opponent to another like he's flipping through tracks on a playlist? It sure feels that way. And honestly, we've seen this before. Remember when Jake was supposed to fight Mike Tyson on July 20th? That was the fight. But it got called off after Jake had a flare-up from an ulcer. Huge letdown, fans were gutted. But in true Jake Paul fashion, he didn't sit around. He pivoted, fast, and lined up a replacement, Mike Perry. Sure, Jake picked up a 6th-round KO win over Perry, but let's be honest, it didn't mean much. Perry isn't Tyson, not even close. The fight was almost too easy for Jake. Fans knew it, Jake knew it, and honestly, Perry probably knew it too. It was a filler fight, plain and simple. A quick tune-up to stay active, but it left everyone still asking the real question. Could Jake really hang with a legend like Mike Tyson? Now, with McGregor possibly entering the mix, it's starting to feel like déjà vu. Another superstar opponent, another flashy offer, another distraction from the Tyson saga. But let's break it down. Conor McGregor is a UFC icon. No one's denying that. He's made his name with a lethal left hand, unmatched. Charisma and trash talk that can rattle anyone. He's a beast in the octagon. But here's the thing. McGregor isn't a boxer. Yeah, he fought Floyd Mayweather in 2017, but we all remember how that went. Floyd toyed with him for 10 rounds and then shut it down. Boxing isn't the same as MMA. The timing, the pacing, the footwork, it's a whole different world. McGregor's skills just don't translate the same way. Now compare that to Mike Tyson, a literal boxing legend, one of the most feared heavyweights in history. Power, speed, experience. Tyson's the real deal. A fight with him would have been the ultimate test of Jake's boxing evolution. So where does that leave us? Jake's chasing another mega fight, this time with McGregor. But fans are still wondering, is he avoiding a real boxing challenge? Or just playing the game the smart way? Either way, one thing's clear. Jake Paul isn't slowing down. But whether he's proving himself or just chasing headlines, that's still up for debate.
The baddest man on the planet.
Tyson's power, speed, and sheer intensity in the ring are still on another level, even at his age. The idea of stepping into the ring with him? Terrifying for most fighters. The man's a force of nature with a boxing IQ that's off the charts. Conor McGregor might be a skilled and dangerous competitor, but let's be real. Tyson is a boxing icon. No matter how you slice it, a fight with Tyson would have carried way more weight for Jake Paul's career than one with McGregor. So now, Jake's doing what he does best, shifting gears, staying in the spotlight, and calling out a new opponent. But this time, fans aren't so quick to buy into the hype. They're starting to see a pattern. When the pressure's on, Jake seems to dodge the real tests, opting instead for matchups against guys who either aren't in his league or don't have the same legendary status as a fighter like Tyson. If Jake truly wants respect in the boxing world, not just fame, not just paydays, but respect, he's going to have to face a legitimate boxer or someone with real credibility in the sport. No more shortcuts, no more tune-up fights. The bar has been set and fans are watching closely. So that's the latest, fight fans. Netflix drops a bombshell, the Tyson fight is off, and Jake's already chasing the next big headline. But what do you think? Was the Tyson fight Jake's true shot at greatness, or just another missed opportunity? Is McGregor a worthy opponent, or is this another flashy detour? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for all the latest in boxing news and fight world drama. Catch you in the next video.